they hang and they nip it. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Esty. Welcome. Well,
Hi.
how are you? Okay, so we finished chapter 1 last week. Today, the class is sponsored in gratitude to Hashem in honor of the women of the Midrashat who bring so much light to the world.
Thank you so much, Margie.
Also,
The teacher that is sponsoring for the class.
okay, so also yesterday was the Alter Rebbe's yahrzeit. It was the day of his passing, the 24th of Tevet in the year 1812. And we have a special when we learn his teachings. Every time you learn from a tzaddik, you get a little bit of that tzaddik in you. So in the merit of you coming and learning Tanya and connecting to the Alter Rebbe and his teachings, may his light shine within you, and that all that we're learning should not only be something that we learn, it should be something that we are. Okay, this is the idea of the Tanya, that we become Tanya. It's not about learning and knowing more and being knowledgeable. It's about really unearthing that essence, the Neshama Elokit, that divine spark that is within us in our daily life, in everything you do, even when you drink a coffee, that everything should be infused with the godliness. And that's the teaching of the Rebbe. He said, like, a great person is a person that makes greatness his habit.
I love that.
When he is a habit to be kind, it's a habit to be God-fearing, it's a habit to pray, it's a habit, you make it a habit every day. You have a discipline and you follow that habit, it becomes you. We are made of habits. If you have a bad habit of biting your nails, you're biting your nails. So just like whatever is not a good habit in your life, just like switch it for a good habit. Don't leave it void, because I think that one of the why people, sadly, they get into something new and they don't achieve what they want is because they don't switch the thing that's pulling them away to something that's pulling them forward. Today I was teaching a class on bitachon, and I was telling the girls that I just came back from Israel, and we went to Sfat, and they have found new excavations in Sfat with mikvahs, and it's unbelievable. And when you go in from Rabbi Itzhak Luria, there's a saying that says, "Are you ready to receive?" Are we ready to receive? So yes, we have to be ready to integrate all this. And also the lunch and classes are sponsored in honor of the children of Arno, Moshe, and Esther Sitbon, Eitan Yeshua Ben Esther, Eli Yehuda Ben Esther, David Yosef Ben Esther, and Sarah Simha Bat Esther. Okay, so we finished last week talking about the difference between holiness and klipa noga, and the three totally unclean klipot. We were saying that Hashem creates in the world in different ways. One is with his face. And we know when Moshe Rabbeinu broke the tablets and he went back up the mountain to write the second set of tablets, he said to Hashem, "Show me your face." And Hashem said to him, "I can show you my back, but I cannot show you my face, because if you see my face, you're not going to be able to live." And there's many commentaries about this, but one of them is that Hashem has a face and has a back. And the face is something that it's kedusha, it's everything that's holy, everything that is transparent to the Creator, where there's no doubt that this is from Hashem. And then there's things in the world, which is the majority of the world, where we can doubt if God exists, like especially in the material world, in the material realm. You see a glass of water and you don't connect it to Hashem. So this is what is klipa. This is that it has a husk. It has like a shell that obscures the godly spark within the water. But there is a godly spark in every creation. And the way that we release that spark is Shakol Niyet Bivaro. So Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Shakol Niyet Bivaro. So I say the Baraha, and what I'm doing is I'm recognizing that this is Hashem, that everything is Hashem. Hashem is everywhere, in everything, in every situation, and that when you recognize that it's Him, then you are releasing the klipa, you are like opening the shell, the peel, you're peeling the fruit, and you're bringing the goodness out of it. And so the majority of creation falls into this category of klipa noga. The animal soul of a Jew comes from the klipa noga. This is our animalistic entity within us. It's actually a soul. And it comes from the klipa noga. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. Noga means that it's trapped. It's noga. It's a shell, klipa noga. And the noga is that there's good within the klipa. So the water is not good, it's not bad. It's whatever you make it. So if you release the spark, it elevates, it's good. If you just drink and you don't even think about Hashem, you don't even say thank you, then it's trapped in the husk, and it's not elevated. So in the terms of the Torah, when we're talking about good or evil, good and bad, we think, okay, he stole, it's bad. He killed, it's bad. But really, it's much more than that. If you're doing things that reveal Hashem, it's good. If you're doing His desire, His will, you're doing His mitzvot, you're learning Torah, it's good. If you're doing things that conceal Hashem, then it's not good. So anything we do that would like negate Hashem in the world, that's what it's called bad. So if I'm gonna drink water and I'm not gonna do shakol, it's bad, because it's not revealing the emet of the water. And the whole purpose of a Jew is to come here and reveal godliness. That's our job as Jews. So the animal soul that we have within, that's the one that we were talking before, comes from the klipa noga. So the animal soul is not good, it's not bad. It is, it's an animal. You can have a good animal, a bad animal, a hyena, or you can have a beautiful, loving dog. It's not good or it's not bad. What defines if it's a good or a bad animal is the way that animal behaves. And so the same with us, that we have this animalistic nature, soul, which is an entity. If we are operating all day under the animalistic entity, which is ego, is egocentric, it's going to be all about him, then yes, maybe a person can do good things with his animal soul, because thank God he was born a great animal soul. He's a kind soul. An animal soul can be kind, loving, nurturing, compassionate, giving. It's all from the animal soul. But if we do it because of me, because I want to feel good, I want to feel great, it's about me, then it's tainted. It's not completely pure. Although the rabbis teach us that even if you do something for the wrong reasons, if it's about you, do it anyways. If you're gonna give the tzedakah because you want a beautiful plaque in the Midrashat of one day we're gonna have a beautiful building, and you wanna, in the entrance, that it says, building donated by such and such, and this is the drive that makes you give the money. By all means, give it, do it. Don't keep away from it. Just do it, because anyways, good is gonna come out of it. It's gonna bring Torah to the world. But your intention was not completely altruistic. It wasn't about the plague. It should be about Hashem. It should be about serving God. It should be, oh, Hashem gave me money and I have the opportunity to be able to build something amazing to help other people and bring godliness in the world. And it's all intention. So at the end of the day, everything depends on your intention. And the intention is a switch. You can just like turn on, turn off intention. You can switch in 1 second. And this is what the Tanya teaches us, is to be able to tap into why we do the things we do. Why? What drives me? What makes me be a kind person? Thank God I was made a kind person. There's people who are kinder than others. Naturally, they're like that. But even a person that comes already, let's say, wired to be a kind person forever, should ask himself, what is the drive? Is it my nature? Is it that this is how I grew up in my house? This is what I saw. I would never in my life imagine not doing this because this is the way I grew up. Or is it, okay, Baruch Hashem, I had this amazing home where I learned this amazing way of life. But at the end, ultimately, there's a higher purpose. And it is to bring godliness into the world. So that is what releases the klipa. That's what breaks through that shell. And then we spoke that there's another type of klipa that is called the three totally unclean klipot.
Klipa or kipa?
Klipa.
Klipa.
Klipa. There's the three totally unclean klipot. And these also come from the Sitra Achra, which is the other side, from the back. And these three totally unclean klipot are things that Hashem creates that there's no way of making them good whatsoever. Like pork. Doesn't matter what you do with a poor pork. If you take it to the shohed and he shohed and he cleans it and he takes out the blood and he checks the lungs and the head and whatever, doesn't matter. It's never gonna be kosher. It's not edible. It's not. You cannot take out that klipa. It has that klipa. And what a Jew has to do, it says no, that no. By saying no, you're revealing Hashem. Hashem doesn't want me to eat that. I think it's the Rambam that says that we should never, no, Rashi. He says that we should never say, oh, I hate shrimps. I hate shrimps, these are disgusting. No, they're a creation of Hashem. Hashem created shrimps for a reason. They clean the oceans. But we should say, okay, they smell delicious, they look delicious, but I'm not going to eat them because Hashem says I shouldn't eat this. I'm a Jew. And this is the response of a Jew. So today we're going to go into chapter 2. And we're going to talk about the Neshama Elokit. This is the godly soul. So we said the Neshama Mahavit. This is page 77. As I said before, the animal soul is a creation of the klipa. It comes from the other side. It lives in the blood of the person. It's part of your blood. It's the life force of your body. The animal soul wants pleasure, 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 doesn't want to suffer. He runs away from pain and he runs towards pleasure. And this is your animalistic nature. So anytime you want to know, am I operating in my godly or on my animalistic? If the I is in front, that's the animal. If God is in front, that's your godly soul. If Hashem is the one in front, that's your godly soul, okay? So the second soul within a Jew is literally a portion of God on high. Anyone wants to read it in Hebrew?
ונפש השנית בישראל היא חלק אלוקי ממעל ממש.
Mamash. So the Alter Rebbe says it's mamash. It's mamash. It's a part of God. It's a spark. It's not a creation. It does not come from the klipa. It does not come from the klipa noga, from the other side. The godly soul comes from God, from Hashem himself. It is a spark of God that is within you, inside of your body, okay? So this soul is the divine aspect of a person, comprised of a divine essence that manifests within his being. And the emphasis in the word literally mamash indicates that this expression, a portion of God on high, is not just a nice phrase to say, but it is literally, it is a part of God within us. And so given its supreme virtue and loftiness, it would seem that this soul should be the first in order of rank, yet the Alter Rebbe deemed the second soul within a Jew. So the animal soul, he says, is the first soul. The godly soul, he calls it the second soul. And one explanation for this is that this soul is chronologically second. Man is born with an evil inclination and only later receives his good inclination. So this neshama elokit doesn't come inside of a body the moment the baby is born. Like it comes in parts. So it says that first it comes when the baby's 8 days old. In girls is when they're named, the boys when he has a bris. The other part comes when the girl is bat mitzvah, the boy is bar mitzvah, and the other part comes when the person gets married. So that's why people need to get married, so they can have their whole neshama elokit within. And so although the divine soul gives life to a person, even from birth, it does not manifest in the form of the good inclination until the age of maturity. So little kids, for example, they're very kind, they're very connected to Hashem, but if you look at a little child, they're animalistic. They have tantrums, me, I want the lollipop, I want, no? And so for the expression and revelation of the divine soul, a developed receptacle is necessary. And if the vessel is the body, lacks the required faculties, it will not be capable of containing the divine soul in a manifest way, but rather the soul will remain latent. So in our case, for example, let's talk about us. We fluctuate between the godly and the animalistic soul. So every time that you're compelled to give tzedakah, for example, you see someone and it's in need. And at that moment, what drives you to give the tzedakah is, you know what, the Torah teaches that when you see a person that is hungry and you should extend. And the Torah teaches you that you should give it with your hand and you should look at the person and you should smile at them and wish them well. There's a whole halacha on how to give someone money. And you're doing it how the halacha is telling you to do it. It's not what you want. I wouldn't want to see a person in that state. It makes me feel bad to see someone that needs tzedakah, you know? But you know what? The Torah teaches, give with a happy countenance, give and smile and give hisuk to the other person. And it teaches you how to do it. So when you're connected to the way, the will of Hashem, how He wants you to give the tzedakah, not the way I want to give the tzedakah, then at that moment, you're operating with your godly neshama. But if you feel bad because this person is asking for money, they look hungry, it makes me feel bad that they're bad, that they don't have money. And this is a feeling that generates inside of me, and this is the reason why I'm giving them money. Then, okay, you're giving, you're doing goodness, but it comes from the egocentric part of us. So it says, because the human soul cannot express itself through such a medium, the manifestation of every spiritual level demands a corresponding preliminary preparation. For the revelation of a Jew's divine soul, a portion of God above, the presence of the animal soul is necessary. We need both. In order to be able to live, we need both souls. The godly soul, as godly and lofty as it is, if it doesn't have a body and blood going around and a heart pumping and needing to eat, there's no way this soul could live in this world. Like he can be flying around, but he cannot have an expression in the world. He cannot come and learn Torah and sit here personally and go out and do a mitzvah. He wouldn't be able to have an effect on the world. At the same time, a body without a soul is a dead body. Like he needs a soul to be able to be vivified, to be able to function. So we need both. They're partners. I think I said this story the other day about the orchard and the king. Rabbi Yossi Jacobson explains it beautifully, that he says that there was once a king that had a beautiful orchard, and every time he came into the orchard, there were no fruit. And he had all these security guards taking care of his garden, and he sees no fruit, no fruit. So he hides one day, he looks, and he sees the guys are eating his fruit. The guys that are supposed to take care of the garden are eating his fruit. So he fires all of them, and he hires a blind man and a lame guy with no legs. And okay, he says, okay, I'm gonna leave it 3 months to see if there's fruit. And he comes back 3 months later, no fruit. So strange. He calls the gardener, what's going on with the garden? No fruit. Why are the fruit not growing? The gardener says, the garden is perfect. Everything's healthy. I don't understand. So he hides again. And what does he see? He sees the blind man standing, the lame guy on top of his shoulders, and he's grabbing the fruit, and the two of them are eating the fruit. So Rabbi Jacobson, he explains this allegory very interestingly. He says this is the animal soul and the godly soul. This is the godly soul is a blind guy. The animal soul is a lame guy that's seeing the fruit and he wants the fruit. And the other one is a partner with him. He allows it. He doesn't stop him, he allows him. So when a person is going to have Joe Stone crabs in Miami Beach and he's going there, the godly soul is not screaming, no. He's going with him. He's sitting there. He's looking at the guy eat his Joe Stone crabs and he's saying nothing. So he's a partner. He's also accountable. So the way in which we give more strength to the godly neshama is to feed the godly neshama. You have to allow the godly neshama to be have more expression within you. How do we do this? Learning Torah, understanding what we have to do. That's number one. We have to learn, because if we don't know how we know, we don't know. When you know, you don't know, right? That you don't know. And so obviously the godly soul is going to be very strange moments that this soul will come out. And it will, like it says later on the Tanya, that a Jew is willing to give his life for the sake of heaven. Like if he's put between the cross and God, he'll prefer to die, even the most simple of Jews. And we see that Neshama Elokit just comes out like a lion. So there's moments where it comes out, but for you to be able to live a life where the godly soul is a reality, that you feel it, that is within you, you have to nurture it. And there's a whole discipline for that. You wake up, Modeani lefaneja, you say brahas, you wash your hands, you pray a little bit in the morning, you do some tehillah. There's a prescription to allow that godly soul to have an expression. It needs to express itself. But if we don't know that it's there and we have no idea how to do it, like it's a person that doesn't know how to speak, how is he going to tell you something if he doesn't know how to speak? That's why it's so important that people know how to speak, because it's a way of expression. So a portion of God above, which is this divine soul, the presence of the animal soul is necessary. Its cultivation enables the divine soul to merge with it, manifest with it, and refine it in a meaningful way. So we don't come to the world to elevate the godly soul. The godly soul doesn't need to be elevated, doesn't need to be refined, nothing. It's perfect. It's a piece of God. It's a mamesha, spark of Hashem. The godly soul comes to the world to help refine the animal soul and the body. Because the body fell from the penthouse in Gan Eden into the lowest of the basements of that building, and the body was corrupted. It's not the body that we had at the beginning of creation. So we have to come here, Tikkun Olam, to rectify the body. And how do we rectify the body? This godly neshama comes to aid, comes to help us. Not like the blind guy that let the lame guy go. No, has to be active. We need to make it active. We have to turn it on. There's a story of the Rebbe that this politician, Israeli politician, what was his name? Avner, it's a big politician, came once to the Rebbe, and he said to the Rebbe, what do you do all day? And the Rebbe says, well, I help people find their spark. I help them find their spark. And he says, okay, and do you turn it on? He says, no, I cannot do that for them. I can show them the switch. I can show them where to turn it on. I can give them the match, but they have to turn it on. So it's a personal job. Everybody has their own personal avodah of refining your body through revealing your godly spark. So since I started Tanya 25 years ago, something that is very much in my life is that when I am confronted with situations, and you're reactive, obviously, I always stop for 1 second. Say, okay, who's talking here? Who is talking? Who is in charge? Who's driving this car? Is it the godly soul or the animal soul? And at that moment, I realize if I'm getting angry or whatever, I say, oh, this is the animal. It's the animal. It's the animal. It's the animal. And once you pinpoint, then you can completely switch to the other one.
When I would like to understand it. Let's see, somebody is screaming at me, and I say, Miskin, this is an animal.
It's an animal soul, completely.
And
Yeah.
I say, maybe he has problems.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so this is
That's a godly soul. That's a
Exactly,
godly
that's
soul.
what I am.
Yeah, because you have the ability to look more than yourself. You're able to have compassion towards this
I
person.
am controlling myself.
You're controlling yourself because the whole thing is that you have a head on top of your heart. If you look at the anatomy of a person, the head is on top, the heart is here. So the animals, they're horizontal. The head and the body are the same level. But the human, we have a mind. And really the mind is where this is the decision-making place, is in the seichel. This is where you make your choices. So you have that response that you would do like as it's a how you would react to a situation. The way you react to a situation is where you are at that moment in your life. You're gonna react according to who you are at that moment. If you're anger prone, you're gonna be angry. But if you've been working on yourself,
Exactly.
because it takes work,
Oh, yeah.
and you start living a more altruistic, more soul essence based life, then you're gonna be able to take by the minute you take the choice of not screaming and not getting angry and just letting it be, then you're a person that's already took that decision in your head, but you didn't make that decision at that moment. You are that already. You understand? You have been working on yourself in many things in your life to be able to come to a problem, a situation, and be able to not just react.
Yes, that's exactly what happened to me. Since I am in this community, a great community, God bless
Amazing.
all
Baruch Hashem.
Rabbaniot, I'm changing.
Baruch
And I
Hashem.
teach my grandchildren too.
That's amazing. That's very inspirational.
Mamash.
Really very inspirational. And there's never, till the day we're in this world, there's always room to grow.
Yes.
And we have to have a growth mentality. You're young girls. Growth mentality throughout your lives. Always look, I can be more connected. I can be more godly in this world. Because Hashem, there's one, people say spiritual. But the Jew is not meant to be spiritual. We're not meant to be spiritual. We're not meant to go around with these white clothes, with the red string. This is not us. This is something adopted by other philosophies. The Jew is meant to take the whole world and make it godly. The Jew is meant to be godly, not spiritual. It's very different. It's very different. You can see a person that is loves to dress nice, loves to put a beautiful table, loves to have a beautiful home, and she's very godly.
Yeah.
And you can have a person that the house is like devoid of everything. There's nothing, vegetables, raw food, raw. And she's dressed in linen the whole day and nothing. And she's not godly. And she's not godly. She sits, she sits in a way that it's not befitting to royalty. She treats people, she speaks not nice. It's not godly. So,
And tzniut.
and tzniut is royalty. It's godly. Godly. Hashem also hides. Hashem is not so openly naked in the world. He also dresses. He has a robe and a robe and a robe and a robe. So all the things that we do that are God-oriented, let's call it, like doing what Hashem desires from us, His will and His wisdom, we connect to this, and we live through this, then we are godly people. And the Jew is meant to look godly to the world. When a person sees a Jew walking in the street, they have to see God within that person. When you see a very holy rabbi, I heard Rabbi Obadiah Yosef was in Miami going all around, and you see that man, and you say, oh, I can see Hashem in him. I can see Hashem in him. And this is not only him. This is all of us. That a person sees a Jew, a woman, a beautiful Jewish woman, and say, I can see Hashem in her.
It's your perception, though. I think it has to do with you also.
It can
It's
be,
not the looks of the other
but
person.
you know what? No, but the Jew has to be transparent to what he is.
I know, but it,
So you're
I'm saying it-
saying that
I understand,
that person
Tanya.
has to
yeah.
perceive God in her in order for other people to see God in her.
Obviously, if you don't see it in you, you cannot see it. Yes, and sometimes no. Sometimes people will wake up. People will see it. I've heard stories. I heard a story of a neo-Nazi guy in a jail. I heard it from him personally in a jail. And he was a pro-Nazi, right-wing, anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, the ones that go out with the swastikas in there. Terrible guy, terrible. And he ended up in a jail. And in the jails, they have chaplains. Happened to be the Chabad rabbi of that area was a chaplain of this jail. And he ended up having to take care of a group of these neo-Nazis as a chaplain. Can you imagine that? And the way that he behaved with them was so holy. He gave them so much respect as human beings, as being creations of Hashem. Like he treated them not like trash. He treated them like, okay, you're God's kids. And he was very kind to them. That at the end, this guy turned around.
Wow.
So sometimes a Jew comes into a place where the place doesn't have a perception of God, or even the person inside doesn't see him.
Yeah.
But the way of a Jew can break through that and can break paradigms and can break perceptions of people.
But I mean, I'm saying this because you can look Orthodox, you can look like a rabbi, but it doesn't make you
Godly.
saint.
I agree.
Yeah, so it depends your experience also within you, how you reflect upon somebody that looks Jewish, that looks, it's your eyes towards the other person's eyes. It's who you respect.
I
You
agree.
might see one that's very godly and another one the same way that they're dressed. They look godly, but to you, they're not godly. You understand?
I understand what you're saying. I understand. I also, when I became Balshuva, and the rabbi in Colombia, Rabbi Yoshua Rosenfeld, that I love, and he said to me, Margie, one day you're going to get discouraged. Sometimes you're going to think people are something and they end up doing things that they shouldn't be doing. But he said to me, remember, we're all human. We're all human. So the Tanya is teaching us to be godly. This is the whole idea of coming here and learning how to be us godly, how we can be godly. The perception of other people, okay, it's the perception. You cannot control that. But your behavior is the only thing that you can work on, is in your behavior. And if people won't perceive it, okay, that's not your problem. If people see it or don't see it, that's not your problem. But your problem is your behavior. Is how am I gonna be an expression of Hashem within the world? How am I going to express myself? Obviously, there's people that have the hat and the whole garb, and they behave very far away from this expression. But the problem is not that. The problem is
What you have, your godly soul.
your godly soul.
Right. And you're the one who has to reflect.
Concentrate on your
All yourself.
concentrate on your godliness.
Yeah.
And eventually there's people who don't show it, but they have it inside. Because it's a neshama elokit. It's inside, it's mamish, a spark of Hashem. Every Jew has it, no matter who they are. If they're anti-Israel, pro-Israel, leftist, rightist, whatever you want, they all have a spark of Hashem within them. And that's why the Torah commands us to love every Jew as ourselves. Why as ourselves? What does that mean? How can I love someone like me? It's not the garb of the outside that you see. It's to be able to see that spark within every person. When you tap into the spark, when you're a spark talking to another spark, then you're going to be able to see the spark.
And the non-Jewish people, they don't have the nefesh Elohit, but they don't just have nefesh Bamit. They have another soul, obviously.
Only the Bahamit.
Say again?
The non-Jewish people, they come from the Klippa, Noga, the righteous ones. Because there's a group of non-righteous people that come from the three totally unclean Klippot. So he says that the nations, he talks at a level of nations, the nations of the world. So there's nations that are not redeemable. There's no way they can be redeemed because they are trapped, like they are completely three totally unclean Klippot. There's other nations that come from the Klippa Noga. So the soul of these nations, and we see individuals, maybe you see it in a country that they're like love the Jews or whatever. But if you see in certain places, like for example, in the times of the Holocaust, that you had righteous upon the nations, and we have a whole beautiful garden in the Yad Vashem, the very holy people that they really saved Jewish lives, and they were willing to give their lives in order to save Jews. These people don't have the nefesh elokit, but it doesn't make you better or worse. It's not like you're better because you have it or you're worse because you don't have it. This is a configuration of the person. This is the way they're made. It's like if you buy the Apple iPhone and the Samsung iPhone. You cannot say one is better than the other. They're great, but each one has a different configuration, a different way of working. And some people like the Apple computer, other people like the Dell computer. It doesn't mean better or worse, it depends. But the nations of the world, that the people that behave in a holy way, they are considered very righteous. Like they can be in a very high place. Like they can be really very, very holy people. And it's harder for them. That's why it's so special, because they don't have that aid of the godly neshama. They don't have that extra soul. So yeah, there's many righteous amongst the nations, and the Rebbe Lubavitch was very much into teaching the other nations the 7 Noahide laws, which were given to every human being after Noah, to Noah. And these 7 laws, if everybody keeps these 7 laws, they are as good as a Jew. They're as good as a Jew. They're helping bring godliness into the world through these 7 laws. I think it's only one God, no blasphemy, no murder, no stealing, no adultery,
And not to eat from an animal that is.
courts of justice, and not to eat from the limb of a live animal. So I heard Shimona Tzukernik, she once said, like, literally, they should eat kosher meat. Because the ways that they shohet the cows in most of the places, they electrocute them. And when they cut the limbs from the animals, they're still alive. So all that has an effect on their souls. And if they would keep these 7 laws, the world would become perfect. It would bring the world to perfection. So they also have a place in the world, and they have a place in the world to come. They're gonna come with us.
I just want to add something, because sometimes us here at the table where we learn Torah, we might be introduced to people who look to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and sometimes it is through converting. But we also have to bring them this idea that you don't need to, when you're a goy and you respect the 7 laws of Noah, why would you need it? It doesn't mean that you can have discovered Hashem, you can desire like to serve Hashem, but you don't need to become a Jew to serve Hashem. Sometimes it's very important to teach them that there are some rabbanim who teach the Torah of Noah, and that it's very important for non-Jews to know that, because not everybody should be a Jew. You don't need to be a Jew in order to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
No.
And also sometimes, like it's so much important when we see people who are righteous people and who are not Jews, if they are tempted to convert, maybe they are not tempted to respect every single thing. And we don't realize that it's much better to be Ben Noach and to respect the 7 laws of Noah, rather than to take the responsibility of holding on to 613 mitzvot, even though we don't do 613 mitzvot because the temple is not here, but still, like, it's a lot of responsibility. So I feel like where we see so many people who discover Judaism, who are attracted by Judaism, also, like, let them be aware that there are places, and I don't know here in Miami, but I discussed with one Rav that I wanted to create a program to bring awareness for people who are not Jewish, that they can serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu without being Jewish. You don't need to be a Jew.
You don't need to be a Jew.
And the laws of Noah are beautiful and bring a lot of, like, in this world, as you said. So if you know anyone who is interested in that, please reach out, because that's one thing that we program to do with one of the rabbanim that supervise the Orot, is to do a few classes for Bnei Noach.
That would be amazing. And you know what? The Rebbe was very much into it's our job as Jews to illuminate the world and to help them be also a light. That's why we're a light upon the nations. Like, our job is not only with the Jews. Our job is not only with us. It has to be like that rabbi that went into that jail with that neo-Nazi, and he cared so much about these people, because they're a creation of Hashem, that it was such a real thing for them to see a person that really cared about their neshama, that really transformed him. It was the act of caring about my soul. And that's what transformed this man, that he cared about my well-being. And so
you discourage a goy to be a Jew.
yes.
It's not that you discourage, but not everybody should be a Jew. And not all candidates to Gerut go through Gerut. And it's not, because you can be attracted by that light. Like, it's very beautiful to discover Judaism. There is a way as a non-Jew to serve Hashem in the same way. And this is somehow very important, that to be an all Goyim, to be a light to the nation, is also to shed light on their light, to make them open their eyes on what Hashem expects from Goyim. And it's not, because in some groups, maybe being a goy is not a positive thing, but it is. Hashem created different nations. We have a certain mission, and other nations have other missions.
Yeah.
And to help them discover their mission is super important. It's super, super important. So it's not necessarily that I personally worked with the Bedouin of Miami Beach for many years. And I remember that every time they would send me a French woman who didn't speak English and needed to be taught in French, the first thing I would say is that, there are laws for women. The law is here already. No, but you can come in. There are laws for non-Jewish people to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world, and it's and it is my duty to let you know, to inform you of that, and to know that as a non-Jew, you have 7 mitzvot, and it's your responsibility to hold on to those mitzvot and to accomplish them. And as a Jew, we have other mitzvot. And it's a lot of mitzvot, and I don't know, it takes a long time to learn about them. That's the process of the Gerut, like learning to know, do I want to step in that boat? If I want to step in that boat, am I able not to drill a hole on the boat and make everybody sink with me? Because if I convert, then it means that I'm ready to hold on to those 613 mitzvot, to accept the Torah, to embrace the Torah in its entirety, and not only a few mitzvot that I pick here and there. And I feel like it's so important because many people don't know that as non-Jews, they have a very, very, very important matter in this world, and a very important part, and nobody else can play their part, because they can play a part as non-Jews that they cannot play as Jews also. So it's super important.
Yeah.
So you want to open
I don't want to open a Midrashat for non-Jews.
a class for non.
No, but yeah.
They teach them the 7 Noah class.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what you
and
want.
In Marseille, thanks to Rabbi Twitu, there is a community of Bnei Noach. But you're right, it's true. What Cathy was telling us, they're looking for the community, being part of a group, and this is not felt in the Bnei Noach today, maybe because there isn't. But that's maybe if there's no random, how do you say, hazard.
Situation. No.
There's no coincidence to that. There's no coincidence. If we speak about it today, it's because all of us, we have something to do with that. So you know what? Like we will for sure this week, next week, the following week, meet people that need that conversation.
No, it's to help bring the world to perfection. That's our job. And to help the world come to perfection, it's also the other nations. You have to help them become who they're meant to be.
Okay, but do you want them in your community?
No.
But they are not. It's not a matter of being part of the same community. But listen, we live in Bar Harbor, Surfside, Bay Harbor Islands. Okay, non-Jews see Jewish people all day long. Don't you think they should be taught what is first Judaism, but also that even though we live in our community, and it doesn't mean that they need to come in our community, but we have a common purpose in life.
You should do a podcast.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Say again?
A podcast on that.
I go to a gym. I have this girl that is the one in the receptionist, and she has the most beautiful smile. And I tell her, smile every day, because your smile lights up the world. So that's one thing, like you empower them, you give them a reason to smile, a reason, I have a purpose, I'm a light. It's little by little, it's a little drop here, a little drop.
But that's also one thing that us Jewish people, we forget. One of our mission is to be a light to the nation, and is maybe to help them form a community.
Yeah.
Of Bnei Noach. Maybe that's one thing that is important. No,
Yeah. I wonder how many there are.
I'm going to tell you, I listened to a Rav, he's a French Rav in Israel, in Ashdod. His name is Rav David Twitu. And he gives regular classes. Hello, Rabbi. Please come in. we're just discussing something, we'd love to have your opinion on that. Bien sûr, là, on est en train de faire une
Ça y est, c'est fini.
Yeah, I have a question. It's not.
Margie, let
So let's.
travailler la date, from Montreal, right? Did you turn off the?